This week we had the opportunity to talk to a few of our neighbors and ask them a few questions. One of our questions was, what do you think the Lord thinks of this neighborhood?
I gotta say, Jesus loves. He still loves the people in the neighborhood, no matter what the situations or what they're doing or whatever. But for one, he wouldn't even want to do it. He'd turn around and go the other way.
You just got done saying he loves the people in this
Yeah,
neighborhood.
but he still wouldn't want to be here.
Because that's what's bringing this world down now. The devil's letting people get away with too much stuff. And God need to come down and correct them all. That's what I'm talking about. And make this world happy again. That's what I'm saying.
I think that Jesus thinks that they should get their life together.
I think Jesus knows they choose to do wrong because it's an easier money-making lifestyle. And they are more focused on selfishness, their own wants and needs.
Exactly.
No consideration for the next person.
I believe that he is very upset and disturbed by what is going on in his kingdom. I mean, this is a war zone. This is not how we're supposed to live. Innocent children, innocent people are. I watched gunshots go off today. You know, it's just right there, right by your church. That's not how this is supposed to be.
Our next question was, do most people think that they need help from God or that they are fine without Him?
Definitely. I think it's a lot of people I think that feel as though that they ain't good enough. I'm just being real. Most of them think they're too good. Yeah.
I think people have, their heads are too big. I think that they believe either one or two things, that there isn't a God in the world, or that they're too good to ask for forgiveness.
We are in the season of Advent, where we remember the first coming of Jesus as a baby, born in a manger, welcomed by the poor shepherds, God with us in the midst of our poverty and brokenness. At Advent, we also look ahead to when Jesus will come again, and we believe those days are getting closer. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 3-5 prophesies how we're to prepare for His coming. It says, "A voice of one calling, in the wilderness, prepare a way for the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain, and the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all people will see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken." When a king was expected in ancient times, servants would go ahead and prepare the path. They would make sure that the king's path was level for his horse or chariot or carriage. Holes would be filled in, bumps and hills would be leveled out, so that the king could arrive safely and everyone could see him. Well, in this passage, there's a highway prepared for God in the wilderness, in the wild and dark places. Valleys are raised up. Valleys can represent shame and worthlessness that we carry that keep us from experiencing the glory of the Lord. You might say, my background is bad. I've done so many bad things. I'm beyond hope. These valleys need to be raised up. Instead of gazing on our own unworthiness, Christ invites us to enjoy and even share in His glory. And the mountains and the hills need to be made low. Every place where we have trusted more in our own goodness, our own greatness, our own background, or our own abilities and strengths needs to be humbled and laid down before King Jesus. God's desire is to come to us in our wilderness and reveal His glory so that all people can see it together. We want to be people who prepare the way for the Lord. So how do we do this? In our own hearts, we recognize the valleys need to be lifted up and the mountains that need to be brought down low in repentance. We keep the understanding always before us that the Lord wants to come to our wilderness. He wants to bring His glory to our neighborhood. So we join with Him in our prayers to welcome the making of the highway in the hearts of the people around us, that the valleys are raised up, that the mountains and the hills are made low, that the rough ground is made level, and the rugged places a plain.
Years ago, Jeannie Miller had a few visions that relate to our church and community. In her first vision, a cavalry of horses was marching down Wilkins Avenue. Riding out in front was King Jesus. As he advanced, he was looking to the left and right toward the houses and calling the names of people inside. Doors were opening and people were looking out to see what was happening. Jesus knows the names of each person and each circumstance and each house, and he calls them to himself. He wants to reign and rule in our community. In her second vision, again on Wilkins Avenue, directly across from the church, there were people lying face down in the street. They were not lying there because they were drunk or unconscious or anything like that. They chose to lie in the street. There was some fear among the people that a car might come, not be able to stop in time, and crush them all, but they continued to lie there. In the story of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, people threw down their cloaks and garments in an act of honor as he entered the city. It occurred to Jeannie that the way Jesus enters our community is as we, his people, lay down our lives for him and the people he has sent us to serve, even if it means giving up our lives. The answer to our mountains and our valleys and the way that King Jesus will enter our lives and this neighborhood is this message of hope.
If you know anything about the Bible, God forgives and loves all. I mean, as long as you ask for forgiveness and you truly mean it, He's there. You know, no matter, I don't care what you've done, whether you've murdered, raped, whatever. You ask for forgiveness, He will forgive. You know, it has to be a genuine thing. And I know I'm done wrong. I know I'm a sinner, but please, you know, help me, lead me in the right way.
Come, King Jesus, we welcome you. Show us your glory here in our wilderness.
In the wilderness, prepare the way for him. Make straight the Lord's path in the desert. A highway for our God. The valleys be raised up. The rough ground be made level. We will be turning over stones, filling in the holes, cleaning off the roads, laying down our clothes, turning over stones, filling in the holes. Your voice and shout, proclaim to all the towns the song.